It's all its files in the Jeffrey Epstein investigation is expected to land on President Trump's desk this morning. He said he will sign it. He hasn't said exactly when. What we do know is that this is a stunning reversal for the party and the president, who had tried to block the release for months. For survivors of Epstein's abuse, who have fought for years for justice, this is an enormous victory. Still, there is skepticism about what happens after the president puts pen to paper to make the files public. With me now is attorney James Marsh. He is representing victims of Jeffrey Epstein. You represent many clients, including Maria Farmer, who was the very first person to have reported to the FBI that she suffered abuse by Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell back in 1996. I'm just curious how she is responding, seeing what is happening with Congress and the promise by the president to sign this.
Yeah, thank you for that question. It's really sort of miraculous what's happened to her in the last few days. She's had a great deal of health problems. She's been suffering physically from this for a long time. And she got a report just a few days ago that many of her test results are positive for the first time in many, many years. So this is a real manifestation, not only of the toll that it takes on victims and survivors, but how, the move towards justice and accountability can really make, in this case, a physical difference on her health. So she's very, very happy for what happened yesterday, with the realization that this is really only the beginning. You said all the files? Well, that's a big definition, all the files.
Yes. I do want to talk about what she told our Erin Burnett. She spoke to her for the very first time publicly, and she talked about this encounter that she had after being called to Epstein's offices in New York when Donald Trump, she says, showed up. Here's what she said.
Trump's standing here, I'm here, and he walks out of his office and he goes, "Oh, no. He was laughing at me. And he goes, "She's not here for you. Follow me," right? And he escorts him in to this other room. But he made a joke to Epstein, "Oh, I thought she was 16.
Now, the White House is denying all of this, saying Trump was never in Epstein's offices. He's calling the Epstein files a Democratic hoax, and he's now pushing the DOJ to investigate Democrats only and their involvement with Epstein. When you put all that together, including their denial, are your clients and you confident that you're going to see all the files? The DOJ is not going to cherry pick any of this and release them all.
No, we're not confident. I mean, that's the easy answer. Our clients are not stupid. The American people are not naive. They know that it's taken decades, in many cases, to get to this point. And the curious aside about the president, he was a Democrat at the time, if you recall, before he became a Republican. So whether or not this is a Democratic hoax, a Republican hoax, you can change your party, you can change your tune, but you can't really change what's in the files. And our clients know that, and we feel that we've jumped the first hurdle, and we're at the sort of the end of the beginning. This is no way over by any measure.
You have filed suit against the United States government, particularly in Maria's case. What is it that you are suing for against the government, and what ultimately does justice look like for your clients?
There's been a lot of budding accountability on the part of the banks. We've seen those lawsuits. We've seen the emails come out from the estate. There have been other lawsuits against private individuals. What we do not know is what is in the federal government files. It's very important to remember that the files that were released were from the estate. All those emails, all those revelations that took the world by storm, 3 days ago, here we are. We don't know what's in the government files. So we really feel that that is the missing piece of accountability. In 1996, when Maria Farmer made her report, Jeffrey Epstein was already under investigation as part of the Tower financial scandal. He was also under investigation and was sued by the State Department that leased him the former Iranian consulate in New York City. These are facts that people have long forgotten, but we want to go back to the beginning, find out that what law enforcement knew. I'm very happy that they listened, and the U.S. Attorney in the Southern District of New York also has to release their litigation files. There's a huge record in the government files on Jeffrey Epstein, and we want to know who facilitated and who contributed to his rise to power. We think that will be found in the government files, and we hope for some government accountability and the creation of a fund or some kind of means to compensate these victims for the government's failure.
Yeah, I mean, there's so much there, and we heard from the victims with just stunningly emotional comments about how they have tried to survive all of this, and they're finally getting a little
It's
bit
been decades for
of
many of
relief,
them.
at least some acknowledgement here.
Yes.
James Marsh, thank you so much. I'm sure we'll be talking to you.
Thank you for your coverage, and keep on this story. I don't think we're near the end, anywhere near the end.
Don't let your vacation rental and your hammock be invisible. Get seen, get booked on Booking.com.
You wash your whole body every day, so why don't you wash your whole mouth?
Listerine, wash your mouth.
At MedStar Health, treating our patients well starts with treating our people well.
That's why we have amazing well-being resources to help us thrive, like mental health support, flexible scheduling, and backup childcare.
There's a culture of safety, a culture of respect.
David, the movie.
Thank you. We do appreciate it.
Thank you.
Will.
The bill to force the Justice Department to release all its Jeffrey Epstein files. It has passed both houses of Congress and will become law when the president signs it. Now, he says he will, but when and how? Unclear. Now, he does like public signings. This year, we've seen him hold signing ceremonies for such things as restoring the presidential fitness test. That's right there. He did a signing ceremony for the Genius Act, a cryptocurrency regulation law. He signed a slew of executive orders on camera on Inauguration Day, of course, including a pardon for the January 6th rioters. So can we expect the same kind of public display when he signs the Epstein bill? Let's see. With us now, CNN political commentators Bakari Sellers and Scott Jennings. Scott is also the author of the brand new book, I mean, like out yesterday?
Yes, sir.
A Revolution of Common Sense, How Donald Trump Stormed Washington and Fought for Westernization. Soon-to-be best-selling author Scott Jennings, I'll go first to you. Will the president storm into a signing ceremony for this Epstein law? Do we expect the same kind of public attention as is given to the Fitness Act?
Yeah, great question. I don't know. I personally wouldn't expect a lot of fanfare. I mean, it feels to me like they're just in, okay, fine, let's get this over with mode. And so, but I don't really know. I haven't asked them and I haven't heard.
Why just get over it? Why not embrace it as something to shine the light on what all these women we saw yesterday were calling for?
Well, look, I mean, there's two things going on here. They deserve all of the justice and attention that they should want or should get because of what happened to them. I still am a little puzzled why they and the members of Congress that they've been working with haven't just told the public, what they know about who was involved in this, but that's their prerogative. But at the same time, Trump, look, he thinks all of this has been ginned up to create a narrative about him that isn't true. Democrats want people to believe he had something to do with this when he had nothing to do with it. And at the same time, we are finding out that even after Trump excommunicated Jeffrey Epstein from his life, Democrats continue to remain close to Jeffrey Epstein. But in Trump's mind, the narrative is he is somehow involved in this, even though we have Democrats fundraising with Epstein, we have Epstein programming congressional Democrats like Stacey Plaskett, and on and on and on. So I think it's become a source of frustration for him on the political narrative.
But it was the Trump administration in July that decided not to release this after, of course, they said they were going to, and after President Trump was informed that his name was in the Epstein files. Bakari Sellers, to you also, Bakari, I should say, an author of, I think, at least 3 books at this point, including 1 children's books and 2 grown-up books. Great to have so many fantastic authors on the show this morning. What do you expect the president now to do with this, either publicly, and what do you expect will happen to the Justice Department in the coming days?
First of all, congratulations, Scott, on your book coming out. That's always an amazing day for authors around the country when that occurs. But getting back to Jeffrey Epstein, I don't anticipate the president doing this with much fanfare. In fact, I am concerned about the prerogative given to the Department of Justice to scrub the files and not be fully transparent. We do know that there's no daylight between Pam Bondi and the wishes of Donald Trump. And so I don't expect the full reckoning of the Epstein files. The irony is that there are 2 pieces of irony. The first is that the person who asked for the full release of the Epstein files on the political stage was Donald Trump back in 2015. Second, you hear the Republican talking points about Jeffrey Epstein and fundraising with Democrats and communicating with his member of Congress and Stacey Plaskett during a conference hearing. But that's vastly different, and Republicans are conflating the issue on that point, and they're hoping to muddy the water because the question is and surrounds the untoward activity Jeffrey Epstein had with his guest on Epstein Island, the untoward activity that others may have participated in, the fact that he was or is the most notorious child sex offender we've had come across the stage in a very long period of time. And people want to know the relationships about him and with him during that time period. It's not about who he was giving money to, although that's a problem. And it's not about him communicating with a member of Congress. It's a little bit deeper than that. And they just want to muddy the water.
You guys are both good strategists and authors. And I didn't even know the books were right behind you, Bakari, when I was calling you a successful author. But Bakari, just first to you, what is the risk if the Justice Department doesn't come right out with these files, if it tries to parse them out or none out? What's the political risk for them there?
And first, Mr. Berman is two-time New York Times bestselling author. I mean, just to be completely accurate here. But the risk is, we've seen the risk. I think we've seen the risk. We've seen the GOP influencers just with the Biden on Capitol Hill running out of the White House saying, we have something, we have something, we have something. And then they didn't have jack. And I think you saw the pushback from the right wing. I think you saw the pushback from the MAGA base. It appears the only thing that can separate MAGA from its leader is Jeffrey Epstein, which is kind of interesting on its face. They spent all these years just with conspiracy theories about Democrats and pizza parlors molesting children that never came to fruition. And now they refuse to actually hearken with the true issue of Jeffrey Epstein. It's rich.
Welcome to Meet the Press Now. I'm Kristen Welker in Washington, where the Trump administration is navigating multiple political headwinds on the Epstein files, the economy, and now a major setback into the prosecution of one of the president's perceived political enemies after the Justice Department acknowledged today in court that it did not follow proper protocol when indicting former FBI Director James Comey. A stunning admission. We will have much more on that in just a moment, but we do begin at the White House, where after months of debate and delay, and despite the president's initial objections, a measure to compel the release of the Epstein files is about to be signed into law. The bill, which passed in near unanimous fashion through Congress, gives the Justice Department 30 days to release the files. Survivors of Epstein's abuse cheering and hugging when the news was announced.
The Senate has passed the bill under unanimous.
The president has pledged to sign the bill, even as he continues to lash for the issue, arguing it's a Democratic hoax to distract from his achievements. The president's handling of the issue has frustrated some notable figures in his fiercely loyal base, brushing aside criticisms about comments he made favoring highly skilled foreign workers over American workers for certain jobs.
I love my conservative friends. I love MAGA, but this is MAGA. And those people are going to teach our people how to make computer chips. And in a short period of time, our people are going to be doing great. And those people can go home where they probably always want to be. They're unbelievable patriots, but they just don't understand. Our people have to be taught.
The president today also dismissing concerns around affordability issues, which fueled big wins for Democrats in this month's elections.
We're also making incredible strides to make America affordable again. That's a new word that they're using. Affordability, they talk. They had the worst inflation in history. They had the highest prices in history. The country was going to hell. The only thing that we're going up in is our stock market, okay? The only price that we really have, I mean, we're bringing prices down.
It comes as a new NPR PBS Marist poll shows voters believe the administration's top priority should be lowering prices. No other issue even comes remotely close. That same poll found the president's approval rating declining, with 57% now disapproving of the job he's doing, and voters favoring electing Democrats to Congress in next year's midterms by a whopping 14-point margin. Joining me now from the White House is NBC's Monica Alba, and Julie Sirkin is on Capitol Hill to start us off. Thanks to both of you. Monica, let me start with you. When do we expect President Trump will sign that Epstein bill into law?
That is the question of the hour, of the day, Kristen, and we frankly do not know. As of just moments ago when we checked, the president hadn't yet signed the bill. And remember that this is the kind of thing that he can do privately, he can do it quickly, he can do it out of the view of cameras, or he could decide to do it in front of cameras, as we have seen time and time again with other kinds of legislation. But it's unclear, and the White House hasn't indicated yet which way this is going to go in terms of how we're going to learn about it. But a senior White House official did indicate, and the president himself a few days ago, that the president does plan to sign it. So we'll see about the logistics of how that takes place. But I do think that, as we saw just in the last week or so, when the president wants to sign something quickly, he does. And when he reopened the government, for instance, once all of the details on Capitol Hill were wrapped up and the bill was actually transmitted to him, it was done in fairly quick order. So today they are still working on that. We will see. But we know, again, he does intend at some point to sign it. And then that does give the 30-day kickoff to the Department of Justice to do what they need to do on their end before we might see any of this information.
So, Monica, let's talk about those 30 days. Could this be a resolution or a potential delay tactic, those 30 days? What are you going to be watching for?
There are so many questions we have about exactly what's in the files. You know, there had been such a continued push to release the files, but what does that actually mean? Well, now perhaps we get to find out. And of course, like with anything related to sensitive information, there may have to be some redactions, there may have to be some information withheld if it is connected to, as many of the victims have pointed out, things that have to do with, of course, any identifying details that they would not want out there. But then also, Kristen, there's this question of the quote, active investigation that the president launched his own Attorney General, Pam Bondi, to initiate, which could also be an obstacle to some of the release of this information, because they could potentially say that that is a reason for not doing it. At the same time, remember that earlier this year, the DOJ had assessed that there wasn't credible evidence, but just today, the Attorney General notably saying that she did believe there was some, quote, new information, but she didn't share more details about what that could lead to, what impact that might have on this crucial release that really the victims, the survivors, have been pushing for and cheering and are celebrating. But again, the real question is, what might be in there and when might we actually see it? That is still a huge target for us.
No, you're absolutely right, Monica, and the reaction from the survivors, incredibly emotional indeed. Julie, let me turn to you on Capitol Hill, because even though the bill has passed, there are some new tensions emerging. House Speaker Mike Johnson had said he wanted to see changes to the legislation once it reached the Senate. That did not happen. It passed without any changes. Talk about the tensions that Speaker Johnson is airing at his counterpart.
Yeah, this is super interesting, Kristen. We've kind of picked up on this over the last couple of weeks. It wasn't just the Epstein issue, which we'll talk about in a moment, but it was before that a provision that allowed senators to sue retroactively because of the January 6th probe. That provision caught Speaker Johnson completely off guard. Today, actually, the House is going to vote to repeal it, and he and Thune are still at complete odds. When you talk about the Epstein matter, that's yet another thing. Speaker Johnson had a lengthy press conference yesterday morning in which he started it off saying that he spoke to John Thune, the Republican leader in the Senate, about making amendments to the House-passed bill, the bill they were poised to pass in a couple of hours from then. Johnson took issue with the fact in his mind that the bill does not give adequate protections to the Epstein survivors that Monica was just referring to that may not want to be named. And John Thune came out after that saying, look, I looked at this with my counsel. There's nothing in there that we have to change, talking about the overwhelming vote that came out of the House. And then, of course, he led, as well as the other 99 members, an effort from Leader Schumer just pass on the floor. Johnson seeming a little bit irritated about that last night.
There's some really fascinating dynamics that we'll continue to track. Let me ask you, broadly speaking, about the Trump base, because we started to see some fractures. Congressman Marjorie Taylor Greene, for example, who President Trump started to call a traitor because she was demanding the release of these Epstein files, among other things. He, of course, changed his position, started to say, yes, he would sign this bill into law, but he doesn't want it to distract from his overall agenda. But do you think the cracks that we saw in the base could be long-term, Julie? What are your sources telling you?
Yeah, I'll pick up where you left off there because Marjorie Taylor Greene, the congresswoman from Georgia, said something really interesting yesterday at a press conference with survivors before the vote took place. She said something to the effect of, Mr. President, you called me a traitor, but the real traitor is an American that puts foreign governments over the American people. And I thought that could mean a whole host of issues. It could, of course, mean the tensions we've seen in the MAGA base when it comes to the way the president has approached the issue of Israel and the Middle East, starting new wars overseas is something we've heard over and over again, but also as it relates to H-1B visas, the temporary visas given to immigrants who come here to work essentially, but are not permanently residing here or looking for that kind of status. The president at total odds with his MAGA base on that issue. He defended it again today, saying that people here in certain areas, and also on the issue of Affordable Care Act. So I think this is just beginning and is something we'll continue to follow.
All right, Monica and Julie, thank you so much for starting us off on a very busy news day. We really appreciate it. As we mentioned, we are also following breaking news in the Justice Department's case against former FBI Director James Comey, which now appears to be in serious jeopardy after today in court it was revealed that prosecutors did not follow proper protocol when indicting Comey. Interim U.S. Attorney Lindsay Halligan and her team acknowledging that the jury never reviewed the final indictment against Comey. It is a major error that could get the case thrown out, according to legal experts. Additionally, federal prosecutors also conceding that they were under orders from the Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche's office not to disclose whether career prosecutors have previously written a memo recommending no charges be brought against Comey. The two admissions coming during a hearing in which Comey's attorney urged the judge to dismiss the case, calling it, quote, selective and vindictive, while accusing the president of weaponizing the Justice Department in an attempt to silence a perceived political enemy. The Justice Department responded to those allegations, telling the judge that Comey was indicted because he lied to Congress. Comey has denied those allegations. And
With Dupixent, stay ahead of your child's moderate to severe eczema with clearer skin and less itch. The #1 prescribed biologic by dermatologists and allergists helps heal their skin from within. Severe allergic reaction.
All right, Mike. Free auto insurance with it.
NBC News legal affairs reporter Gary Grumbach joins me now, along with Ty Cobb, who served as a White House attorney during the first Trump administration and is also a former federal prosecutor. Thanks to both of you for being here. Ty, I will talk to you in 1 minute. Let me start with you, though, Gary. Set the scene here. Just how stunning is it that today in court you had this admission that the grand jury never saw the final charging papers?
Yeah, stunning, shocking, choose your adjective.
Yes.
It really was. Let me walk you through exactly what the DOJ say happened in that grand jury room. They were presented with 3 charges. They indicted on 2 of them. One of them, it's called a no bill. They did not indict. So a grand jury coordinator, according to the Department of Justice, went and edited the document to take out that first count that was not indicted. They then took that 2 counts indictments. The 4th person of the grand jury signed it. Lindsay Halligan, the U.S. attorney in the Eastern District of Virginia, signed it, and they presented it to the judge. The entire grand jury never saw that operative document, and that is a huge issue in this case.
Well, and it's one that clearly is what is at the center of putting this case potentially in serious jeopardy. This other admission, prosecutors acknowledging that Todd Blanche's office, the Deputy Attorney General, instructed them not to reveal whether career prosecutors had effectively written a memo recommending that no charges be brought against James Comey. What's the significance there?
You know, so often we've seen Department of Justice attorneys go forward into a court and say they don't know, they were not given this information. This attorney came forward today and said, actually, I was told not to say this information. And he said he was told by the Deputy Attorney General, that's Todd Blanche's office. And that's a very significant admission here, because clearly this judge wants this information, whether or not there was a declination memo. NBC News has reported that there was a declination memo in this case. He would not say whether or not that was the case.
And no decision today by the judge. Where does this go from here? What's the potential timeline for when the judge could make a final
So
decision?
in James Comey.
Yes, 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 yes. We back in the building with another podcast vlog, and this is RDP, aka Raw Dope Podcast, and I'm your host, Hand 5000. Good evening, good evening, good evening, good evening, good evening, good evening. And listen, y'all. Let me clip this mic on. Let me get a sip of my water. I got to do the things I got to do, you know. But man, we got the Epstein files. We just got an update on Harvey Weinstein. And then the boy Ryan Wedding. Oh, man. I got one for y'all tonight. But you know what we got to do? We got to start out with the main course. We got to taste this steak first. So, hey, super violate that like button. Hit that notification button. Hit that subscribe button. Drop a like. Leave a comment. You know what I mean? Like, come on, man. Be easy on the stairs. What you mean? It's 10 steps, bro. Shut up, bro. I'm not ready for y'all trolls yet. I know who's like almost 30 minutes of news vlogs, but I'm here, though, man. Please hit that notification button. Hit that subscribe button. Drop a like. Leave a comment. Shout out to my Mars squad in the building, man. Third World Studio, my partner. The rest of the Mars ain't showing nothing. That's why they ain't going to never be in on nothing. Man, I got rid of everything, and I don't even have a clip down here. But, yeah, man. Listen. Happy to enjoy the what I had to get into because Spaz was high as shit just now, y'all. Hit that notification button, hit that subscribe button. Spaz was high as shit, like always, if he's not working. But the files have hit the president's desk and he haven't signed them yet. You know, he has not signed them yet. He has not signed them yet. And I wonder why. Like, he signed everything so fast. Why y'all think President Trump hasn't signed this yet? Let's see what they're talking about. Everybody's talking about it. The bill passed, man, 12 hours ago. The president signs everything relatively quick. That's what he's known for, being fast on the draw. Why did he sign these Epsteins? Because we're ready to read about this guy.
President Donald Trump to take action 6 hours after the Senate passed the bill to release the Epstein files. After months of fighting over this story, blaming it on Democrats, claiming it's a hoax, Trump could, take any moment and sign it into law.
Just release the damn files, period. I don't care about how the sausage is made. I just want it out in the open.
My bad, say I don't care how sausage is made.
Republican Senator Tommy Tuberville from the only person in Washington who wants to be done with this story. But of course, it may not be that simple. Remember that on Friday, the Attorney General, Pam Bondi, selected a prosecutor to look into Epstein's former associates, including prominent Democrats that President Trump requested. Bondi announced the new investigation.
President Trump a dirty dog, because this is what he did. He said, okay, he got Epstein's file. Y'all did it. Now he wants to open up investigations on Democrats. Yo, our government is crazy, bro. Like, I don't have nothing to do with it. That's why I don't root. I ain't liberal. I ain't nothing. You know, I just get my own opinion, though. That's all it is. This is just Ham 5000 opinion. This is it, man. Please hit that, super violate that like button, man. Come on, man. Talk to me. I'll talk back.
And again, we will continue to follow the law, to investigate any leads. If there are any victims, we encourage all victims to come forward, and we will continue to provide maximum transparency under the law.
Continue to provide transparency, and yet all she says is there's information, there's information, there's information. The DOJ has all kinds of information that Congress had to write a law to get them to release. So what Bondi did anyway has raised the new possibility that this investigation could give the DOJ cover to delay or refuse to release the Epstein files that, again, are in their possession.
They're in their possession.
If they do that. In the
I
Senate,
can't lie to them about that.
Consent.
I can't lie about that. They do have the Epstein's files.
It's going to be the recourse.
So what's the problem?
The Justice Department does not release these Epstein files.
I hope that doesn't happen because that would, of course, defy the act of Congress and the stated intention of the president to release this information.
I don't think they'll do that, Alex. I think I'd be really surprised if they tried that.
I've been saying for a long time that I think that all the credible information that can be released should be released. And so that's where we're at.
At the end of the day, it'll all come out because those investigations will be concluded at some point. And then the present leadership of the Department of Justice will be held accountable if it fails to disclose what needs to be revealed.
All right, let's get off the sidelines and head into the arena. My panel is going to be here. We're going to get started, though, with CNN senior White House correspondent Kristen Holmes, who's been covering all of this for us. And Kristen, we just heard from the minority leader, Chuck Schumer. I want to play for you what he said just a couple of moments ago as we talk about this. Take a look.
This will not and cannot be the end of the work. We'll keep the pressure up, pressure for the president to sign, and then pressure on the DOJ to release the full, unredacted files. No hiding, no game playing, no covering up. Pressure to make sure the documents are released in their entirety and not warped by a corrupt DOJ who's hell-bent on hiding the truth, bending the law, and protecting Trump.
So, Kristen, he led off there by saying pressure for the president to sign. What are you hearing about plans to do that?
Yeah, I mean, your guess is as good as mine.
Picture the president signing.
Multiple times by multiple different
Picture the president Donald Trump signing.
he's going to sign.
I knew that. I knew when they revealed the files and all that shit that Donald Trump wasn't with none of that.
Not just given the fact that he had actually actively fought against bringing this vote even to the floor. So the bill itself doesn't seem like something he might want to tout or celebrate, but it was sent over by the Senate hours ago, and we were told by officials then that it might take some time to get to the White House. But again, that was hours ago, and yet we still have not heard any word.
Nothing.
The bill has arrived.
President Trump said, shit, y'all gonna get to anything with me in it out there. How y'all feel? I feel like the president like, shit, before we release them files, he got a team. About 100 motherfuckers right now. About 100 motherfuckers is on President Trump's team right now. And they is going through them Epstein files like a motherfucker. This shit date back so far. The files date back so far. He gonna knock some dudes off. Y'all gotta pay for what y'all did, man. You know what I mean? But y'all should see the boy house. When they showed the videos of your house, you had black dog babies up there. That boy vicious. You know what I mean? I'm glad that slum is off the earth. You know what I mean? I am. I am, ain't you? Ain't you glad Jeffrey Epstein's off the earth? Harvey Weinstein, you know, ain't you happy that you got these evil people off our earth? You know what I mean? Jeffrey, he's off the earth. Harvey, he's so old in that cell right now. You know what I mean? He's so old in that cell right now. They just keep appealing stuff. And I think he's winning his appeals because he's just old as fuck. You know what I mean? And then some of the allegations are old. You know what I mean? I wish prison on nobody. But them slum dogs, they deserve every night in that motherfucker. So let's get into this other guy, the Olympic champion. Before we get into how we get into the jerks, we're going to talk about the weirdos. But let's talk about this murder for hire dude. Y'all always think it's just us and Lil Durk and everybody. But this one dude, Ryan, they got a $15 million reward out for that boy. God almighty. Wow. He got that boy. They put out $15 million. Now, what in the world has he come to? What does the world come to? This boy. We just gotta hear. We have to hear what is he on the run for? Ryan Wedding, you know what I mean? He had somebody killed, and FBI is looking for him. And we all know when the FBI come, that's that, y'all. The FBI come is over. They got a case. Oh, hey.
This is an update on a case that we've been following for the past year, centered on a man named Ryan Wedding. He is a former Olympian, a snowboarder who competed for Team Canada in the 2002 Salt Lake City Winter Games. Now he's accused of running a massive cocaine trafficking operation and orchestrating multiple murders. He has been a fugitive on the run for more than a year and was added to the FBI 10 most wanted list earlier this year.
Dang.
Now today, the DOJ
I seen the
announcing
Netflix on
more
him.
charges, more indictments have been unsealed against Wedding, centered on the murder of a witness in this case. Also, the reward of this case has been upped from $10 million to $15 million.
God.
Let's bring in NBC News legal analyst Misty Merritt.
That's tough.
Misty, you've been listening to
Charleston White better not never
us
see
here.
him. White 100 better not never see that boy.
What it is that the FBI and the DOJ announced here with unsealing these new indictments, and what it means for this ongoing case against Ryan Wedding.
So this is a significant escalation of this case. With this new superseding indictment, we're adding, charges are being added: witness tampering, intimidation, murder, in addition to drug trafficking. Focusing on
He like with the cartel or something.
Intimidation and murder and witness tampering. That is a significant piece to this, Joe. So there was an arrest made just this week relating to the killing of a witness who is cooperating with the FBI. An individual was arrested. Now, this announcement is linking Wedding to that killing as part of this criminal conspiracy and drug trafficking operation. That is really significant in this case. Remember, this is would be a federal prosecution. That would be a death eligible offense. So this could result in life imprisonment if he's convicted, or potentially the death penalty for interfering with a witness who is to testify in a federal case. So that is a huge piece of this.
So if y'all don't know who Ryan Wedding is, Ryan Wedding is the Olympic guy that went left. You know, who's a guy in Canada, from Canada. You know, a while back they say he got involved with the cartel, but they did not. You know, most of them, and we're gonna use that word, most Caucasians, bro, they go by the book. So they did this long investigation. They knew what this motherfucker was doing and what he was up to. Makes America look bad. He's been in the U.S. Olympics. Salt Lake, you know, and now he's on the run because he decided to become a criminal. And now, and then he doesn't just become a criminal. He don't just sell drugs and try to get some money and, you know, change his family life. He's taking it overboard. He's killing witnesses. He's putting out, allegedly, by the way, I didn't make this up. Like I said, I didn't make this up. You know, I did a little bit of research. Like I always tell you, and I watch all the vlogs, all the new things, and I put it in my brain, a gumbo, and I rationalize with it, and I come up with my opinion. I got my own opinion, Doug. And my opinion is this man has to be stopped. I'm just gonna be a buck with you. He gotta be stopped. It's gotta be stopped, man. It's making white America look bad, man. Really. These guys are making white America look really, really bad.
The government is making it really clear. Wedding is looked at as the mastermind here, but you're not safe if you're the guy on the street corner or the person somewhere in the middle of that chain. This is being viewed as the largest criminal drug trafficking conspiracy in the nation, an international trafficking organization. So everyone will be prosecuted as part of that conspiracy. There's already been arrests. There's been some pleas, and all of that is going to be in furtherance of getting to the top of this chain, who is Wedding.
Attorney General Pam Bondi offering some details about just how big this alleged drug trafficking operation is, saying 60 metric tons of cocaine go into LA via Mexico per year. She says that weight is equal to 40 standard cars. That's how much this cocaine weighs that Wedding is alleged to have orchestrated bringing into this country. So
Wedding was getting money.
Obviously, the key here is that they still have to catch Wedding and bring him into custody. I know earlier this year they said that he's believed to be in Mexico. This announcement today, unsealing new indictments, increasing the reward, can any of that make it easier to get more resources to try and bring Wedding into custody?
Yeah, so this is all about cooperation internationally. We're talking about the Mexican government. We're talking about Canadian government, United States government, and law enforcement working in coordination to find Wedding. So a couple of things about this. First of all, increasing that reward to $15 million. This speaks to the danger that the Department of Justice views Wedding. Remember, not only are we talking about this drug trafficking operation, there's also allegations of murder, attempted murder, in furtherance and to protect the organization. So there is absolutely a concern regarding safety here. So that's something that a increase. And Joe, to your point, this is getting more eyes on this case, not letting this case kind of fall to the wayside, to help get the public to provide tips, whatever it is that could lead law enforcement to his capture. So this press conference, coupled with
I think they like making a Netflix series about him. Look that up. They're making like a Netflix series about him over some other guy. Oh, was the college football dude. It was the dude that played for like LSU. That was who they made the Netflix flick about. But man, I've been hearing about this guy Ryan for a while because, like I said, a little over a year ago, like they saying, you know, they was talking about it, but I paid it no mind. Like I said, it doesn't enough. It doesn't. When he was in the Olympics, I didn't know who he was.
We got something coming though. They say it's not currently available on Netflix, but a documentary series titled Snow King.
Yep.
From Olympian to Narco is in production, but has not yet been released or confirmed for Netflix. But however, it is titled and listed on IMDb. So
see, I told you. See that? Round of applause for me. I tell you, because all I watch is documentaries and stuff like that. So, like I said, I heard about it, but then it was the football dude. It was him. You know what I'm saying? The surfboard guy's gone crazy. The snowboarder's gone crazy. I heard about that, but he's gonna get arrested, or he's gonna be found somewhere dead. That's the possibility. Or he might just not get caught. They are his three options. He'll die in a cartel war. He'll get arrested and spend the rest of his life in ADX Florence, or he'll just run because he got a lot of fucking money. He'll just simply run. And the planet Earth is huge. And with the type of money and the type of people he's dealing with, man, it's going to be a long time for the catch. Long time for the catch. You know what I mean? If he's smarter, and I think those type of guys like him, they so deep in the drug game. When you deep in the drug, like I tell the dudes like this all the time. Listen to what they said in the beginning of this. If you've been in here for the whole time, for the last 10 minutes, listen to what they said. They said they arrested somebody in connections with a murder. And then they say, now this case has just been opened up a year ago. And the year pleas are already. And plea deals are being arranged to get to the top. And that's Ryan Wedding. You know what I mean? So it's already fucked up. You get what I'm saying? Dudes are lining up to get their sentence reduction. They gone. If they don't catch them, I don't know what happens to those guys that choose to cooperate. If they don't catch them, and it's just a long waiting process. And those dudes would just be sitting there until their day come that they could fulfill their obligation of being a rat. But when you think about these big organizations that's outside of the streets, I'm talking about these cartels and these whatever, they are not above the law, but they on the same level as the law. Because I feel like whoever gets paid the best, whoever pays the best, lasts the longest. Not simply as a cartel rule. Whoever pays the best gives up the most information, they going to make it. So Brian Wetton, whatever family he's with, he's being protected because he was moving a lot of weight. And on top of being protected, he was getting money. So a life on the run as a rich person in the underground world of narcotic sales, you can run because the world's a big conspiracy. But one thing for sure and two things for certain, when the United States of America gets on your ass and the FBI come looking for you and you just been running for a year, you might have a clean getaway, but for the rest of your life, they're going to get you. And I just hope he don't go Hollywood like El Chapo. I hope Ryan don't go Hollywood like El Chapo, because if he goes Hollywood like El Chapo, he'll be caught just like El Chapo. You know what I mean? I'm just keeping it real. I'm just keeping it real because at the end of the day, I did my crimes. I served my time. You know what I'm saying? I've been on a run a couple times and I got caught. I've been on a run a couple times and I got caught. I've never been on a run for nothing like that. And Ryan Wedding, and just the fact that he's an Olympian, and just the fact that it's an embarrassment to the Canadians, because you got a lot of people that do crimes every day. But then when your crime make the world news, like Harvey Weinstein, Jeffrey Epstein, and Brian Wedding, they got the front. They made all this stuff with the culture, and they put the culture in the front of it. hip hop news, and all that, but they try to cover up the real bad people. I'm just gonna say that. Harvey Weinstein sentence was overturned in New York. The California thing, the pills is iffy, washy, convicted again, all of the above, but he's still fighting. Jeffrey, he took the back way out. He's 6 feet deep somewhere. And Ryan Wetton, he NRE. And that stands for niggas on a run eating. He's simply on a run eating. Yo, welcome back, Chauncey. But I'm on YouTube working. So when I get off of YouTube, we gonna work. But one thing you didn't do since you've been back home is say, bro, let's just get it here. Let me dust these cameras off. Let's get a couple episodes done, and then we'll work something out. So you think about the budget and everything, and I'll call you when I get off of YouTube. I did 50,000 yesterday. I'm trying to do 100 today. Like and subscribe. I'll call you soon. My brother Chauncey, one of the best videographers in Baltimore, man. He was out in Vegas for a while, came back to the city, and it's time to work. Oh, man, the team is crazy. Chauncey is back. The Genius League. Man, it's great. But all three of these guys, right, I feel like are America's nightmare. And one guy's Canadian. He's coming here in the United States doing a bunch of stuff, and now he's committing global crimes because you hide in the United States. So what's the next place to go to make some money? Europe, Venezuela. And they put in war in Venezuela. The president in that war in Venezuela. So it's just different out here. So these three guys, the reason why this was the topic tonight, these three guys have done some very, very bad things. And the guy that's least on the totem pole is Ryan Wetton. I come from the streets, so hey, guy getting some money, he's getting out of hand with it. Hey, I'll never knock a hustler. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. I never, that's what it is. But Jeffrey and Harvey, good God Almighty. It has to be tough for Harvey to be that old in jail. It really does. It really has to be hard on the guy. You know what I mean? It really has to be hard on the guy who simply just did what he wanted to do to women for year in, year and out. Now he's in that cell, bro. It's tough. But I think in California, they might got air conditioning because there's no way in the state of California you're going to be locked up and it's not an air conditioning building. That has to be horrifying. You got to have air conditioning. What do you think? California, it's too hot. Florida, California, somewhere in the South, they have to be dealing with AC unit because especially Texas, it get beyond hot. Yeah. And that is definitely inhumane conditions to have an inmate in a California jail with no air conditioning. So I'm quite sure them California spots got air conditioning. They keep it really cool in there. If not, 1 million fans are in there. You have to let the circulation, or you'll have a lot of heat deaths. But to be, what's Harvey's one, like 1952? Harvey Weinstein, was it 1952 or something like that? He's a 50 guy. Both of them, Jeffrey, a lot of them dudes that was born in the 50s, wow. 1952. And when was Jeffrey Epstein born? Harvey Weinstein was born in 1952. When was he born? Was he born in the 50s?
The boy Epstein.
When was he born? Was he born in the 50s? Please don't tell me this guy was born in the 50s.
Was Jeffrey Epstein born in the 50s? Yes, he was.
Oh, man. Was President Trump born in the 50s? That's 3 in a row.
3 in a row.
Harvey Weinstein, Jeffrey Epstein, and come on, President Trump. Were they all born in the 50s?
46.
Yeah, yo, all right, Trump a little different. But them 50 babies, man. Good God Almighty. Them 50 babies. Them boys, them 50 babies, man, get to making movies, get to doing real estate, get to making money, man, and get to thinking they can do what they want to do. They live horrifying lifestyles, and then they'll say to us or anybody else, "Oh, you, no. People of all cultures have committed some of the most heinous crimes in the world. True indeed. We're not going to take that away. Prison is packed full of all shapes, colors, and sizes and creeds. Different prisons all across the world. Different states you go in, more cultures override the situation. So, it's horrific crimes everywhere. But those crimes are in the courtroom thousands of times a week, all across the United States, nevertheless all across the world. But certain crimes from certain individuals stand out and make the news, make the headline, like, Diddy case, R. Kelly case, whoever case, the guy, the LL Bean guy, when he caught up in something.
LL Bean.
One of those joints, Abercrombie guy, which one? One of those big designer guys got caught up, but he got a bail. Remember they were saying he got a bail, but Diddy didn't get a bail. Remember that? It was one of them, bro. Because at the end of the day, it's a lot of people that get caught up, man.
Yeah, it is. There's a lot of people.
Yeah. So, but I'm just saying,
James Franco.
This year, who?
James Franco. James Franco. He played in Guardians of the Galaxy.
Mhm.
He was Star-Lord.
Mhm.
And he played in a lot of classics.
But he got caught up, right?
Comedy. Yep, he got caught up.
He got caught up.
Yeah.
So it's been a lot of that stuff. Like it's been going on forever. 2025, we seen a lot of trials this year. And we seen appeals, Harvey appeal. We seen things.
Yeah.
But some things have been kept in the dark from the media, from the urban media, because Rod Doe Podcast, we are urban media platform, independent, by the way. And I said to myself, like, man, hey, listen, man, I'm not about to, I want to get into the dirt and what's been going on with Dirt and them. They showed some pictures from his co-defendants today in court. Yeah, it was pretty, it was rather unique. Dirt got his hair cut off. I'll get into that tomorrow, maybe the morning, or maybe Sunday. But right now, my headline news is Jeffrey Epstein, because that's what the world talking about. Trump, President Trump, be the great president that everybody voted for and sign the fucking shit and get the stuff out of it. You know what I mean? I'm quite sure you had enough time, President Trump, to get your name and stuff out of it. But the people want to see it because there's other people they want to go at. And I want to see it. I want to see it my goddamn self. The Epstein's files will probably be the first, like, when it's released and it's in the public eye, I'm gonna just read it, bro. Like, that's gonna be like a good book, like that's gonna be an amazing read.
Yeah,
the Epstein files is gonna be an amazing read, bro. Like, and I know a lot of people from my culture is not gonna read it, don't give two fucks about it. But I do. I simply do. Because it's like, man, you got so much wealth, so much money, so much power. You can be doing a million things in the world, and this is what you decide to do with your free time. Harvey Weinstein, Jeffrey Epstein, and we're going to exclude Ryan Wedding because, a lot of people on my channel, a lot of people where I come from could relate to Ryan. We could relate to Ryan, even though when they catch Ryan's going bye-bye, but you can relate to Ryan, the hustler, and got in too deep. Maybe that's his story. We'll hear about it when his documentaries drop and all that. Ryan's not on a creep show. He's on a distribution and killing show. Which costs harsh sentences. You know what? He'll get a lot of time. But, I think Harvey Weinstein originally got 23 years and then like 17 years in California. That's the time Ryan deserves. He deserves 17 years in prison. If he's convicted. He deserves 17 years because, hey, you're getting some money and it's like Squid Games. When you're in a game and everybody signs up to be a part of this, things happen. You can lose your life, you get incarcerated, you can get rich, you can get poor, you get addicted to drugs. That's the Squid Games of the streets. But when you talk about Harvey and Jeffrey, they are in disrespecting humanity, disrespecting the mother of the earth. Hurting the mother of the earth, which is the precious female, no matter what culture it is. Because without females, it couldn't be more the womb. If the women did not push out babies, we wouldn't have a world. You know what I'm saying? We wouldn't have a world. So you got to protect the women, no matter what shape, creed, color, culture, wherever they from. And you protect the women, you protect the children, and you protect the elderly. Any person that chooses to go up against that and violate those and the mentally ill, we can't forget about the mentally ill. children, women, elderly people, and the mentally ill. If you choose or sick, if you choose to harm mentally ill or sick people, you choose to harm them, you cold. You cold. And when I say, the mentally ill or the sick people, I mean, wheelchair bound people, people with, things that just can't do for themselves, or the mentally ill that just is not mentally stable. When you do things to people like that, you are a slum bag. You deserve to go to prison. You deserve to be hurt. You deserve to, you deserve the treatment you get, because no one wants to hurt children, women, elderly people, or the sick or the mentally unstable. Well, why would you hurt people that can't help themselves, or why would you hurt people that's defenseless? Now you have some gangster women out here. We seen a girl on the bus pop a dude all up. You got some females that fathers raised them right. You got some tough females. You got some females. Griselda, she was a tough. Keisha from New Jack City. Set It Off. Angela Jolie and Tomb Raider. We seen some tough women, superwomen. So those tough women, they in the field. But other than that, most of them get protected by the big guys. Even in Marvel protect the women, DC protect the women, right?
Yeah.
Everybody protects everybody.
Yeah.
That's 100% facts. So you can't be doing nothing in any comic book or any villain and superhero. You're protecting the women and the children and your elderly. You know what I mean? Like, come on, man. Come on. So when you hurt that, I have no love for you. When you do that, no matter what shape, creed, color, culture that you're a part of, when you do that, you are a slumbag. You are a douchebag. You know what I'm saying? You are a piece of S. You're a piece of work. If anything negative come your way, you deserve that, because you're the type of person that violate women, children, elderly people, the disabled people, the mentally ill. You want to hurt everybody that don't deserve to be hurt. Nobody deserves to be hurt, but there's some people that do get hurt because they like to hurt people, hurt people. If you cool, if you want to be in a hell, if you want to be in the gangster, go out there with all the killers and the gangsters, but don't hurt women and children. Right. If that's what I said. I'm gonna be honest with you, Lucille. When I seen the only person that didn't vote was Louisiana, I said, what the hell? Louisiana is a very, 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 state. The way that they treat their convicts and the way they do it down there, a life sentence is a normal sentence. A football number is a regular number. A life sentence is a normal sentence, and a football number is a regular number. In the state of Louisiana, they gave Boosie 10 years for marijuana possession, and the list goes on and on and on. And just imagine the people that don't have no money, the poor people, the disadvantaged minorities, no matter whatever color. Because I've seen some documentaries on Angola, and of course, most of the prisons in the United States is overpopulated with Hispanics and African Americans. True indeed. But you see in Louisiana and some of these states, you see them crazy Aryan Brotherhood, skinhead, KKK, Hell's Angel type dudes in prison too. So one thing that I learned about the court system and the judicial system, when you break the law and you commit a crime on a certain level, they're gonna carry you, no matter what color you are. I seen as many white lifers and Hispanic lifers as I seen as black lifers. You know what I mean? It might be more black people locked up overall, but everybody not lifers, So that's it. But I mean, when I heard that guy was from Louisiana, I said, what the hell? Of course he ain't going against his own. You had slave masters back then that knew that this slave owner was really brutalizing the slaves, and they knew it was wrong, but they wouldn't say nothing. That's going against the grain. It's like the police department. A cop could see something happening to you, and if there's no cameras around, they gonna just not go against their partner because that's what they told to do, not go against the grain. So but how many people are going to go against each other when these Epstein files are released? How many people are going to go against each other when the president finally signs off on this Epstein files and put it to the public and let the courts, the federal courts view this stuff, and whoever's going to get charged, You know, it all happens.
Yeah.
But I personally think, on my own opinion, that the president is not going to sign the bill. And when he signs the bill, it's going to be signed when he feels like it. But Congress, the House, Senate, the floor, you know, different people could press the issue. But he's the president. He has the last say in this type of matter. So, I don't know. What you think about the Congresswoman texting Epstein during interrogation? Man, I think that a lot of people wanted to cover their ass. You know, it's even with us, you know, in my past, when I was a street guy and I was in the streets, we're gonna, criminals, let's just say not even the streets, criminals and people that know they did something wrong, you're gonna do anything to cover your ass. You know, in their world. In that world, they'll become whistleblowers. In our world, it's called a rat. In their world, they call it a whistleblower. So a motherfucker was just probably giving them, hey, somebody coming for, I don't know, what did she actually say? But hey, you want to save your ass because you party with the rich and famous, and the rich and famous have some negative shit with them because they're rich and famous and they think they untouchable and they think they have friends in Congress, friends on the police department, friends in the FBI. But like I always say, it could be a million rotten apples, right? It could be a million people, and you can have approximately 970,000 rotten apples, but you're going to have 30,000 apples that want to do the right thing. And it's just known to history. Small army to take a big army down if it's orchestrated right. And that's what happens in the criminal system. Small armies take big street organization, underground lifestyles, and break all types of Da Vinci codes through people, through rats, through whistleblowers, and through investigations. That's just what happens. So they thoroughly investigated Harvey Weinstein. They thoroughly investigated Jeffrey Epstein. And Jeffrey Epstein didn't come and be a man and face his reality. He's somewhere resting peacefully. He doesn't have to face this. He doesn't have to face the madness. So the bunch of people over this duration of 20, 30 years of this madness and this nasty, insane, provocative, pedophile, baphomy, ignorant type of shit that they had going on, polygamous, whatever going on, cult type shit they had going on. He doesn't want to face it. And what the American people want to know is, we don't want to be slapping fives with your friends and families that was involved in that. And anybody that was involved in that, we're seeking charges to the highest. They're seeking to prosecute them on the highest level. So Jeffrey Epstein, he doesn't have to face nobody. He doesn't have to testify to nobody. He doesn't have to watch nobody testify against him. I mean, his children, his assistant, they all have to watch this. She's asking for to be pardoned. And if she's not pardoned by the president, she'll get, things happen. Jail is truly a controlled environment where you cannot open the doors up. So anything that they want to happen to you in there, bro, they can make you disappear. But I truly believe that if she doesn't get a pardon before President Trump's out of there within the next 2 years, before re-elections and all this, she'll probably cooperate. I'm just saying, that's laid on down. She'll probably cooperate. She'll probably cooperate. And then a lot of dudes, and I don't know which way this is gonna go, but my opinion is when they bust this cherry open, it's gonna leak a lot of hidden, dirty secrets of the rich and famous and people that hold powerful positions and titles that pose the care for the people and supposed to have more respect and be at a higher standard than stooping down to this level, engaging in activities that no human being should be doing against underage children, or in the Harvey Weinstein case, simply saying, no, I don't want to do this, I don't want to have this, and you decide that you're going to overpower and dominate a woman and take her innocence. You know, and like I said, you have women out here that be lying. In the Jeffrey Epstein case, I don't think the only people that's gonna be lying is his co-conspirators. In the Harvey Weinstein case, you know, they say over 80 women came out, you know, over the years. A lot of women came out. You know, we do have liars. We do. We have liars. We have games being played. We know that. We've seen a lot of dudes beat cases and, or, you know, cold cases and come back and beat them. We do have liars. But how many liars is in 80 people? How many liars is in 100 people? However many people that came up and stepped up and didn't hide the truth no more. How many of them was lying? How many of them was telling the truth? We will never know. But all we know is everybody came together to show that this guy, Harvey Weinstein, is a creep. And they got to where all the creeps belongs at. And that's creeps. Like he belongs in prison. You know, can you agree with that?
When the sawdust settles and the engine roars, the thing
you know, he's where all creeps go. Everybody got to agree with that. He's where creeps go at. Creeps deserve to go that way. Creeps deserve to go that way. Because there's a lot of innocent men and women in prison. And there's a lot of people that was over sentenced that didn't even commit no horrific crimes like this. And these guys commit, you know, horrific crimes and don't receive life sentences and still receiving numbers. Like, you don't deserve a number. You got 23 years and 17 years, but why did you deserve that? You know, a dude with self-defense cases, because this state doesn't have a self-defense case, it goes into a first degree or second degree murder. You got to serve the same amount of time as somebody that's like them, that's, you know, disrespecting, violating, you know, women and, you know, children. You know, they don't get life sentence. Cash Out got it. Cash Out got it right on TV, and his mother got 30 years. But these dudes, Harvey, he got less. Come on, then got his sentences over time.
Administration is navigating multiple political headwinds.
Hit that notification button, hit that subscribe button. Let's get into it.
A major setback into the prosecution of one of the president's perceived political enemies after the Justice Department acknowledged today in court that it did not follow proper protocol when indicting former FBI Director James Comey. A stunning admission. We will have much more on that in just a moment, but we do begin at the White House, where after months of debate and delay, and despite the president's initial objections, a measure to compel the release of the Epstein files is about to be signed into law. The bill, which passed in near unanimous fashion through Congress, gives the Justice Department 30 days to release the files. Survivors of Epstein's abuse
Don't forget to like, hit that notification button, become a member.
The Senate has passed the bill under unanimous.
The president has pledged to sign the bill, even as he continues to lash for the issue, arguing it's a Democratic hoax to distract from his achievements. The president's handling of the issue has frustrated some notable figures in his fiercely loyal base. At a moment when some of his allies in Congress are also voicing frustrations with his approach to core economic issues like affordability and jobs. Today, the president brushing aside criticisms about comments he made favoring highly skilled foreign workers over American workers for certain jobs.
I love my conservative friends. I love MAGA, but this is MAGA. And those people are going to teach our people how to make computer chips. And in a short period of time, our people are going to be doing great. And those people can go home where they probably always want to be. They're unbelievable patriots, but they just don't understand. Our people have to be taught.
The president today also dismissing concerns around affordability issues, which fueled big wins for Democrats in this month's elections.
We're also making incredible strides to make America affordable again. That's a new word that they're using. Affordability, they talk. They had the worst inflation in history. They had the highest prices in history. The country was going to hell. The only thing that we're going up in is our stock market, okay? The only price that we really have, I mean, we're bringing prices down.
It comes as a new NPR PBS Marist poll shows voters.
I don't want to hear that. We ain't getting into all that. So before we get into Ryan Wetton and ordering murder,
Ongoing investigation.
I want to get into this Harvey guy. Let's see what this is. Let's get into this Harvey guy. Let's hear his story. I want to get back into the appeal. Then we'll talk about some hip hop stuff. Offset and Finesse 2 times. Pulling each other up, leaning, fake leaning. I trips out these guys. These guys are really funny.
After lots of drama in the jury room, there is a verdict in the sexual assault retrial of disgraced movie mogul Harvey Weinstein, at least for some of the charges that involve 3 different accusers. Stephen Fabian is at the courthouse.
A partial verdict in the retrial of disgraced movie mogul Harvey Weinstein. Weinstein was found guilty of committing a criminal sexual act against former actress Miriam Haley.
To survivors of sexual assault,
told you.
You matter, your story matters, your voice matters, and you're not alone.
He was found not guilty of sexually assaulting model Kaja Sokola. She and her attorney spoke outside court.
I truly hope from the bottom of my heart that standing here right now will give courage to others to speak up.
Harvey Weinstein was convicted of 1 count of criminal sexual assault in the 1st degree. That's a Class B felony. He can go away for decades for what he has been convicted of today. And that is a win for survivors everywhere.
The jury has yet to reach a verdict in the alleged rape of Jessica Mann, who testified that Weinstein raped her in 2013 when she was a struggling actress. Inside Edition producer Emma Cady was inside court when the verdict came down.
Tensions were so high in discussing this one juror who had so many apprehensions about the courtroom that Harvey himself even raised his hand to speak directly to the court, telling the judge, "You're endangering me."
The drama started on Friday with a note from the foreman, Juror 1, who said he needed to speak to the judge about a situation that isn't very good. Just hours before the verdict was reached, the jury foreman asked to speak to the judge, saying, "I can't go back in there." In another note from earlier this week, juror number 7 asked to be dismissed from the panel, saying he was fed up with playground stuff and gossiping in the jury room.
There are some personal issues taking place with jurors not getting along with each other, and that could spill into the deliberations and result in people refusing to agree because they personally don't like each other.
Weinstein's original 2020 conviction was overturned because the judge allowed testimony from women who were not part of the case. Weinstein, who says the sex was consensual, is currently serving a 16-year sentence in Los Angeles for a separate rape and sexual assault conviction.
Dang. So that boy, he vicious. He vicious, bro. I want to get into this real quick.
More turmoil at the Harvey Weinstein sex assault retrial today as the foreman refuses to go into the jury room to finish deliberations, leading to a bombshell decision from the judge that had Weinstein clapping. Amber Cogliano spoke with one of the accusers.
Chaos at the Harvey Weinstein trial as the jury foreman refuses to go on deliberating. The arguments among 7 women and 5 men were so ferocious that 3 jurors actually asked to be excused. The jury foreman said he actually felt threatened and felt pressure to change his opinion. He was even afraid to enter the jury room. Weinstein applauded in open court as the judge was forced to declare a mistrial. The jury was deadlocked on the charge that Weinstein raped actress Jessica Mann. Weinstein attorney Arthur Idala spoke out after the trial ended in chaos.
It's gross juror misconduct. Not only did you have a guy being threatened to the point where he refused to continue to deliberate, confused to be in the same room, but we found out they were considering evidence not admitted at trial.
One juror spoke to reporters but did not want to be identified.
This is cabin fever. You know, you're locked in a room with like, what was it, 16 or 17 people for weeks on end. I think most of us just wanted it to be over with. And we were leaning towards a certain decision. We thought it was going to be guilty.
Yesterday, Weinstein was found guilty of sexual assault on former production assistant Miriam Haley 19 years ago. But the 73-year-old disgraced movie mogul was found not guilty of sexually assaulting former Polish model Kaya Sokola.
Some people just did not want to agree.
Oh. Oh, MJ shit? I'm out to. Hold up, y'all. I'll handle something real quick.
Sex.
He believed that he was going to be untouchable.
The story of how Harvey Weinstein silenced his accusers.
Harvey Weinstein had an incredibly complex machine designed to maintain silence around this.
I just remember feeling so powerless and furious.
Large payouts, non-disclosure agreements.
Absolutely. In fear of death, I was not allowed to talk to a journalist.
An array of private investigation firms.
They could destroy me and my image.
Yeah, that boy vicious. That boy vicious. That boy vicious. I can't. I'm happy, you know what I'm saying? He got convicted. You know what I'm saying? And then, you know, it's a vicious. Look at this. And then his New York conviction was overturned.
Dad.
I'm putting y'all down because y'all might have slept this.
David. Thank you, Mum. David, our son.
After years of rumors and accusations, the 2020 conviction of Harvey Weinstein was a moment of vindication for his accusers. The disgraced movie producer sentenced to 23 years in jail for sexually assaulting one woman and raping another. Today, that conviction overturned.
We knew that Harvey Weinstein did not get a fair trial.
The New York Court of Appeals ruling the trial judge made a critical mistake by letting women testify that Weinstein assaulted them, even though their accusations were not part of the charges he faced.
But Harvey was very gracious, very grateful. He's like Arthur. I've been here 4 years in prison for something I didn't do.
For the more than 100 women who've accused the movie mogul of sexual misconduct, shock.
This today is an act of institutional betrayal.
Oh, yo. 100. Imagine 100 women accusing you of some sleazeball shit. How many, and y'all in the comment box, right? How many of y'all think that out of the 100 women, how many of y'all think was telling the truth? And just drop a number in there. Out of 100 women, how many of those women you think was telling the truth? And like I said, me personally, if I'm being an asshole, I'm going to say all of them was telling the truth. If I'm being an honest, stand-up citizen, journalist, I would have to give a percentage. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? What up, Candy Cane? You know what I'm saying? So that's just how I feel about it. You know what I mean? So, you know what I mean? If I'm being a jerk. What's your number? Can y'all drop some numbers in there? Drop some numbers in there.
That's true or false? I mean, that's
How many out of 100 women that accused him? He has 100 women accuse him. How many women you think telling the truth? How many women you think telling the truth?
in between 40 to 60.
I like the way you said that, though. I like the way you said that. You said 40 to 60.
60%.
40 to 60%.
That's vicious.
I'm going to be honest. I like that 40 number.
Yeah.
I like the 40 number.
Yeah.
The 40%, that's a reasonable number. 40% is just reasonable. That's it. 40% is pretty much reasonable. 40%. So my number, I will say, I'm gonna stay in the 40s with nephew. Honestly, I'm gonna stay in the 40s with nephew. I'm gonna say 45%. You know what? I'm gonna be a little weird because I'm weird, and I'm gonna go with 43.5% of those women are telling the truth. 43.5. You go 40, 60. I'm gonna say 43% and a half.
43.5.
You know what I mean? Around that time, close to 44%. Say about 44 of them. And out of that 40% of 44%, I'm gonna say roughly, I'm gonna say my honest opinion, 14 of those women. Shout out to Candy Cane. Love you, baby. You know what I mean? Shout out to my baby. Always putting something in that super chat. Always showing love. I don't care if it's $1.99, 50 cents, man. Like anybody, I would just love for y'all to put something in the super chat. Like, just put something in there. If you're gonna like this, share this video, get this video up. They might think that we doing view things or something. Because we did like 50K. And it's like, where are the people at? But I'm on here till they get here. That's what I do. I work. So I think about, I'm gonna keep it real. I think about 14 of those women out of my 44 women was super ultrally violated. Right? That's my theory, it's my opinion. And like those other 30 women, I think was engaging with him, and then when they wasn't getting what they wanted, they pulled that card. And then the other women just, the other percentage we know just in it.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
On the bandwagon.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that makes sense. That definitely makes sense.
The landmark case was the cornerstone of the global Me Too movement.
This is not a blow to the movement. It is a clarion call. The legal system has never served survivors.
Today's ruling doesn't make Harvey Weinstein a free man. In 2023, he was sentenced to 16 years in jail after he was found guilty of a separate rape in Los Angeles. What it does do is pave the way for a retrial in New York.
And if it goes ahead, Weinstein's team say this time the 72-year-old will take the stand. In the United States, Smiley Hogan, 7 years.
Done. Now, by the way, Harvey Weinstein has been convicted. They overturned it in the summer part. So this is old, but I seen this, and I was confusing them. And that's the reason why I've been covering. I was confusing them. I did the Steen word, that word, Epstein's, Weinstein's, is all sound fucking same as. Who cares? I don't. But I just said that I will not, going into 2026, overlook all media. And what I mean by that, when you check out our episodes, to Get to Know Me, the Welcome to Baltimore stuff, or the Third World short films and, big feature films that's, due to come in the years, like, next 5 years, we do some explosive things. But I will not overlook on my blogging time. This is my vlogging time. This is when I just come into the man cave, cut the lights and the cameras on, and I deal with my 5,700 subscribers. I'm 7 years in this YouTube stuff. I'm just dealing with my 5,700 subscribers, and my goal, like it was, is to get to my first 10K. And after I get to my first 10K, I'll be so proud of myself, and I deserve it. Then I'll be working towards my 100K. That's how it goes. I'm not worrying about no number. I'm worrying about getting that first 10K. And after we get those 10K subs, we're focused on getting our YouTube plat, and you get one at the 100K. And at the 100K, I don't see 250. I don't see 500. Y'all know what I see. I see 1 million, because we can turn 10K subscribers into 100K subscribers. We could turn 100. I'm gonna keep it a buck. We can turn 100K subscribers to a half a ticket. And after we do the half a ticket, we go on the million. And once we go a million, sky's the limit. You feel what I'm saying? And that's just the ghetto dream for any type of person doing something. You get a cult fighting with a 10,000, and out those 10,000 people, you get a good 200 people. Like I don't think over the world. I have a big imagination, but I don't put too much on people. So you get a good 100 people that become loyal members and pay top tier shit to fuck with you and catch episodes when they drop or pop up on you and shit like that. You know what I mean? You start eating. You know what I mean? But I just like, the goal is like to get it to far as it can go and just creating good content and not doing no rush jobs. You know what I mean? And shout out to, again, Third World Studio, nephew Spaz Money. He in the building. He just like cameras. He likes to be on the camera when it's like, I don't know. I really don't know. He's just weird when it comes to cameras. He likes to shoot. You know what I mean? You don't want to be in every picture. Like Wallow and Gilly, my camera crew doesn't want to be in every picture. Not to get off topic, but we got to get into Offset and Finesse 2 times. This has to happen. It has to happen. I don't want to get off the weirdos, but Finesse 2 times and Offset are making the internet interesting, like how everything do. But I have to hear this. Urban Informant just dropped something on it. Shout out to Urban Informant. Shout out to all the content creators, especially the independent content creators that it takes a minute to get a buzz and then they really got a buzz. And I'm a big fan of, what I'm saying, the community. You know what I mean? And everything. 1 second. What's up, shorty? Man, I'm saying, but I'm working, man. You know what I'm saying, man? I ain't never let it go, hey, man. Y'all know y'all tapping in, but man, my little brother just touched down, man. Original shot the man. You know what I mean? Watch the man. My brother. I know when he get up with the big fella, he has some news. You need a big fella to do something or some advice. Because I know you got good news. You look like good news, man. Man, hey, what's your salam alaikum, man? I'm saying, man, I seen you in the booth, man. Like I seen you in the booth and you act like I wasn't cheering for you. You act like I wasn't advocating the platform that kept that the real black alive. You know what I'm saying? Exclusive joint from behind the door. You know how we did it, black. You know what I mean? Let's go though. I seen a picture of you in the booth. I can't hear him, Smith. I can't hear him, Smith. Phone went out. It won't say black. I can't hear y'all at all. I can hear you now. Oh, yeah, and see, and if you would have told me that, and if I was in a hospital or blind, I wouldn't have believed that. You still got it, black. Get back in that same mode that you was already in. All right, so I understand why my man black chilling, but I know when you get that feeling back, boy, you got a lot of pain in them years. Yes, them 037 boys calling direct. You know what I'm saying? We online with them 037 guys. My men that went through the jungle and then came back. They back. They got plenty of stories and PSI. I need to read it. Them guys saying we reading background. They want background checks. I can't do nothing. I'm telling the people that y'all say, man, when y'all feet hit the cement fully, y'all want background checks. I heard you say it again. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. You ain't lose nothing. You ain't lose it, Black. You ain't lose it. Yeah, you ain't lose it, Black. You ain't lose it, Black. You ain't lose it at all. Y'all go look up the real Black, man. Go to Raw Dope Podcast. Black, man. He did so many interviews. Please, man. The brother is home. Go stream the real Black music right now for me. The brother need all those residuals. He need everything. Show him that y'all appreciate him. It's the heavy talk. You know what I'm saying? Like, before everybody had jury, it was the heavy talk. It was the bikes. It was Detroit. It was Ohio. Legendary car salesman, entrepreneur houses, the real Black. He been working. Go check the old catalog before y'all get this new shit. It's going to be real goofy. I promise you. Hit that notification button. Hit that subscribe button. Drop a like. Leave a comment. The men are coming home. So all y'all that was hanging out, man, going to have to go back inside, man. I'm sorry. 2026 is going to be hot. And listen, the men came home when it was cold, so they gonna keep a low profile. My God, when the April showers bring May flowers, y'all out at downtown, it's gonna have to get really crowded down there. It's a lot of dudes where they start hanging down. Selection and Market, up there by the Muslim shops, by King Tut Jewelers. A lot of dudes where they go do that. Know what I mean? A lot of dudes where they be not back in the neighborhood, man. Rent is due. They said rent is due. Good God Almighty, man. Hey, a trip to New York is only $40. To get to Atlanta is only about $60. To get to California, it's cost you about $150 on the Greyhound. You can change your life. Just go ahead and do it. Just go ahead and do it. But Smear, look, I'm going to hit y'all when I get offline. All right. Yeah, that's the guys calling, man. 037, the guys down at the halfway house, man. Welcome back to them guys, man. They home doing their thing, man. I'm proud to see them guys home, bro. You know what I'm saying? The real Black, man, hip-hop artists. You check out Raw Dope Podcast. Go check out the real Black music, man. We did an interview while he was behind the door. He's back home. He's shaping up. You know, when dudes been locked up in prison for a while, you know, they just can't come home. You know, some dudes come home and jump back into it, but he came back home and jumped back into it. And the shit that I heard, some crazy material, and bro gonna get right. You know what I mean? Hit that notification button, hit that subscribe button, drop a like, leave a comment. But we got to get into this Offset and Finesse 2 times.
Comment, Finesse ain't even have to say. Offset don't want to be in a love triangle beef. Finesse want to defend his honor. Stephon Diggs somewhere smiling like, why am I in this? Anyways, who y'all got? Team Offset, Team Finesse 2 BBL, or Team Stephon Diggs, who got the best seat in the game? Comment below, like the video, subscribe, and keep it locked so you don't miss when one of these dudes finally drop a diss track.
Stephon Diggs don't give a fuck. He got the chick. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know why. Offset be off the hook, though. I gotta agree with some dude. Offset be out of order. You know what I'm saying? Offset be straight out of order, bro. I ain't even gonna lie to you, man. Offset be Yo, dude's crazy, bro. I can't get with it.
Boy, Offset.
Boy, Offset, why you feel about that? How you feel, Spence? How do you feel? Damn, Kenny, you just getting in here. You know what I mean? Shout out to Kenny Faso. Shout out to the Mars in here. Hey, Kenny, before we get to the spaz with the bag, you know, the segment we got called the YN point of view. The 3 pigs of the week. And one of them is not like, you know, one of them is really not the worstest pig. You know what I'm saying? To some people he is. But Ryan Wedding, I wouldn't call him, I would just call him a product of his environment. He's a snow surfboard, and that snow got to him, and he deserved, and he started selling metro tons of that stuff and affiliated with himself with some very, very important underground tough guys. And now it's a $15 million bounty out on Ryan wetting the head. And he's somewhere over in the cocoa fields, you know, getting his young scooter on. Rest in peace, young scooter. But he over there making stuff. He's over there in wars. He speaks Spanish now. Spanglish. That's what Pusha T called it. He speaks Spanglish now. There's nothing wrong with speaking Spanglish. But he's a Canadian guy. Tied to the United States. Plug over in Mexico. He'll be running for a long time. But like I told y'all, his situation could end up, he could run forever, he could die, or he could get life. But when it's $15 million on your head, and those guys probably make $15 million in their sleep. $15 million to these big drug lords is probably what they, count before breakfast. Hey, this 15 million came in while you sleep. Their days get $15 million. How get up to my fucking dog? Like some of those kings in Dubai, like $15 million. What are we talking about? That's, my newborn baby starting trust. So $15 million, but $15 million will make a cartel soldier flip. Or make somebody in the boy Ryan Wet in the camp, that's close to him, flip. I'm not gonna lie, $15 million is a lot of money, even though he probably wiped $15 million with his ass. But when a law give it to you, and he's a Caucasian guy, when a law give it to you, and he's dealing with the Mexicans, so when the law give it to you, that's a clean 15 million, tax free. So yeah, federal government give you a $15 million reward. It's like you have to pay your federal taxes and state taxes. So I mean, I'm quite sure that person, that whistleblower, that rat, will just not pay taxes. So, Ryan, hey man, he NRE. Again, niggas on the run eating. That boy on the run eating for a whole bunch of stuff. We done seen big names in the culture go down for stuff like that. But him, he probably doesn't give a fuck. He's probably on an island with 3 girls that doesn't speak English, and he's just spending money still. He's probably shopping at Louis Vuitton right now. Louis Vuitton probably open up for him right now because they know he's on the run. He just called me, look, open a restaurant, Louis Vuitton. Nobody comes there. That's just the way it goes.
Quick drip. Man, boy, Ryan Wetton, bro. Boy, Ryan Wetton. Nigga said he in Louis Vuitton getting a quick drip.
Yeah, Louis Vuitton getting a quickie Ryan. But Jeffrey Epstein, man, them ants are having a way with him, And Harvey Weinstein, be honest with you, that fucking breakfast had to be horrible this morning. Had to be horrible. I know it was cold. I know it was cold.
Yeah, Harvey Weinstein in there, serving 15, serving 16.
Yep, in California. Yep. And they trying their hardest to get them out. I think in California you do 85% of your time. So good God of mine. Good God of mine. He's probably on protective custody.
You gotta be.
Everybody that's in the chat right now, it's 14 people in the chat. I got 12 likes. It's matching up. I don't really care because you know what? I never give up. And I appreciate all 14 people. At our peak yesterday, we had 540 people in here. We went on at a good time. But tonight, it's still people that showed up. So out of those 47,000 views I got yesterday, and the day before was 5K, and then it went to 47K. And I guess, this great content is not being pushed in the algorithm because it's none of the guys up there. You know what I'm saying? It's not the internet favorites up there, or it's not the internet favorite content creator putting this out there, because this shit pretty much should have been where it was yesterday, but I don't care. You get what I'm saying? Some of my videos, I'm going to love this because it's a trophy to me. Some of my videos got 47,000. Some of my videos got 47 views. But guess what? Rod Doe Podcast, I put all my videos out. Shout out to Family First. I'm going to do another one. I got one dropping in the hood. You got somebody, Family First said, do another one in the hood. Mm-hmm. It's crazy because my director, my writer, he says, let's let that summer, but let's put that out before the end of the year. But I'm gonna go live in the hood because it's cold weather. It's Pooh Shiesty masses and cold weather. So I'm gonna get to that. I got to. And like, shout out to Queen's Flip, but you see what Queen's Flip do a lot with his son. Shout out to his son. Me and Spaz gonna be doing that a lot. Me, Kenny, Spaz gonna be doing that a lot. We just getting some lenses straight and get, it's the end of the year. It's the fourth quarter. We getting some things straight, but we gonna be out and about. From the stuff that Spaz like to the stuff that I like to the stuff that Kenny like. We want to just, and I think that's three different energies. The three different energies between me and my nephew is kind of like the same energy, but I'm not going to a Playboy Cardi show. I'm not going to a Playboy Cardi show. Bruh, you could get me to go. Okay, I'll go. I'll go because I don't know who he'll have open it up. Because I'm not going to lie to you. I really enjoyed the NBA young boy Nassau
That's his man's.
Tour. Yeah. I seen NBA do about 5 songs before they totally kicked media out. They kicked media out when Young Boy went on stage, but I did get to see Offset perform. And I'm not gonna lie to you, despite the beef that Offset got going on, y'all can go to my page, look at my video, Nassau Tour, NBA Young Boy Raw Dope Podcast. I was behind the scenes. You see a couple of the guys on. I didn't get no good interviews, but hey, I was my own cameraman trying to be a journalist. I couldn't get jiggy with the shit, but I had to go. They had one ticket, one media slot. I had to get there. But that was the NBA Youngboy show. Was the first hip hop show in my life. That I seen that every fucking seat had an ass in it. That shit in the Capitol Arena in DC had every fucking seat was full. That's the first time actually I wasn't on a stage, but we were right next to the stage for media. So my media pass, we were right there, but they wouldn't, they were it's like, I don't know if these stars pay these people, or how you work at a job and you got Uncle Toms and super people. I don't know if these people being super or what's their orders is, but I couldn't get the front shot. Yeah. You get what I'm saying? Everything was from the side. They get like the media on the side, the east side of the stage, and you couldn't do this unless you was this type of media or whatever. Like, yeah, come on, man.
That's stupid. Guess they was expecting niggas to pull a couple side interviews, but
you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know what happened, but I seen Offset perform. I seen him perform probably like his whole set. I got a little bit of it, but the copyright hits be messing it up. But go just look that up. Raw Dope Podcast. Go to my videos, my uploads, and you want to see the mask off, and you can catch some of it. Young boy, performing. Like, it was just hard to get it. You get what I'm saying? And they were on your back by Young Boy. She told us to, like, yo, Young Boy, y'all can get about 5 songs after that. That's how I didn't even pay attention to that. That's how many songs Young Boy actually did. Because she was like, y'all can get Offset, the whole Offset, but then y'all get like 5 Young Boy songs, and y'all, you know what I'm saying? That's it. That's the only thing that his camp is allowing media to do. They wouldn't allow media to do the whole show. And if somebody got that NBA Young Boy mask off, shit the whole show, they were in a crowd with a good lens and a good angle. For us people that was backstage, if you wasn't with them or a big platform like Complex, I'm talking about DC because that's the only one I went to. But yeah. But that was a show that was fucking packed, bro. It was extremely packed, bro. And then how they cut the lights out and you see all the phones. That was the first time I seen that, like, from the stage standpoint.
Young boy.
That was a hell of a Spurs, bro. Like I said, I'd have been there with Boosie. I seen Boosie. I was on stage with Boosie perform, covering media. Y'all can go check that out. I was on stage with Conway the Machine. Man, I've been on stage with some big dudes, like, but the NBA Young Boy shit was and listen, the Boss Man D-Lo shit, the Boosie shit, it was at like CFG Arena. And that shit wasn't. It was a lot of people there, but when you cut the lights out, every seat wasn't full. You know what I'm saying? You had some empty spots in there. It was a nice ass crowd. I know they all got their back in, but it wasn't that mass off shit, bro. I swear.
You got extreme fan base.
It Boss Man D-Lo, a big. I didn't like Boss Man D-Lo performance at all, and Boss Man D-Lo staff put everybody off stage. I mean, we was on stage with Skrilla Baby. We was on stage with Boosie. All the real niggas. But when Boss Man D-Lo came on, man, they act like he was NBA YoungBoy or a Drake or a Kendrick Lamar. One of those, like, or a Raw Wade, like one of those superstars. And Boss Man D-Lo really just coming out. Yeah. And I'm thinking, like, when you see these dudes documentaries, when you see these dudes, you know, you watch them on the internet, you think they're a buck. But I'm like, bro, nobody's gonna be able to run on stage. Nobody got in here with a gun. You know what I mean? And everybody's just real live cameraman that wants some good footage to put out their content. Yeah. That's all. Like, but you want everybody to get off stage while you at Owl City performing? Like, you are a jerk.
That's terrible. Yeah.
So I could get jiggy with Boss Man D-Lo. I'm not gonna lie, I could not get jiggy with Boss Man D-Lo. You know what I mean? Shout out to Boss Man D-Lo. I like his music. Don't get it fucked up. I like Boss Man D-Lo music, but I didn't like his performance, and I didn't like the way that he carried it with, you know, the media on stage. And I never thought that they would come where I'd be a media guy. Usually I want to be in the show. We get backstage. I want to be backstage. I want to be fly. I want to be the guys, the girls. We just chilling. Like, yeah, you know what I'm saying? We don't even got to speak to a star. I be wanting to be on that tip. But I'm a media guy. I'm a journalist. I'm a content creator. I have a content creating business, Raw Dope LLC. So I gotta be here. I gotta do this, especially when a cameraman's not available because, you know, Spaz was in college type shit. But, you know, I don't know, bro. Like, but if I gotta get it done, I'm gonna get it done. You know what I'm saying? But just a list of the celebrities that's, you know, I got to, you know, really, you know, get some good footage. Was Boosie, was Skrilla Baby, Dave E. Shout out to Corey Guns. Shout out to Conway the Machine. Like, Conway the Machine, you know, his team and the promotion carried it right. And that's through my man SK. Shout out to SK to God, man. Like, I'm just waiting for SK to get his just due. Like, shout out to SK to God, man. He down with drum work. He from out of Baltimore. You know what I'm saying? Soon as Conway came to the sound stage, SK reached out like, hey, Conway here. Boy, you know what I'm saying? I get you, you know what I'm saying? You got all media access. You know what I mean? And he did that. You know, I didn't get an interview with Conway, but, you know, you can't be greedy sometimes. You feel me? That would have been the steak to the peas and rice. But hey, I got a wonderful Conway performed some of his greatest songs, and I got that. And I actually was hanging out the other day at a cool spot, maybe a couple weeks ago, like 3 weeks ago. All the guys decided to hang out, and when I hung out with the guys, a guy was there, you know, that came with one of the guys, and he was like, bro, I called my cousin. He was like, I was at the Conway show, and bro, I seen you on stage with Conway. You know what I'm saying? Because, you know, Griselda got a fan base here in Baltimore. Like, I seen you on the stage with Conway. I called my cousin like, yo, this is crazy. You know what I mean? And I was like, yeah, man, you know, I was blessed to get that. You get what I'm saying? And I took my man Heat Rock with me out of from Keeping It Stat podcast, and also my man MJ was with me. MJ, he don't really care about none of that shit. Like, he just chilled, got himself. He don't really care about, you know what I mean, that type shit. But yeah, they was there. But just to get back, man. So these the people waiting for Donald Trump to sign the Epstein's files. Harvey Weinstein is waiting for his appeal to come, and the boy Ron Wedding is doing his motherfucking thing on the run. He's got money. You get what I'm saying? He's not caught up in the weirdo stuff. He's caught up in the stuff that gets you life in prison and get you sent to ADX. At this point, he knows it's over when they catch him. and he's gonna just live his life. Because I guess when you in that situation, all you can do is live your life. You feel me? Harvey Weinstein, it's 9:55, so it's 7 o'clock in California. He's still out watching TV. And knowing Harvey Weinstein, he probably stay in the cell all day. You know, I know he got money on his books, so he's on PC. He's old. Nobody really cares about him. He's probably got a couple weirdos, you know, that he look out for to make sure he get a good little meal, little jailhouse meal and stuff like that. You know what I mean? So he's an old man, a real old man. So I don't got dudes really bothering him. He might got somebody, you know, he might got another dude on the medical tier that know, you know, what's up with him and press up on him, and he make sure he good. You know what I mean? Little stuff like that. You know, prison politics. But overall, you know, it's rough on him, bro. To be that old, I'd never vision myself being that old and you get sick and you got a bunch of shit going on. You supposed to be dressing up like old Saint Nick, man. Christmas in, you know, a few weeks. You know what I mean? But you in that joint looking at pictures and all that type shit because you just heard to be a provocative motherfucker. You know what I mean? You decided to be ignorant. You know what I mean? So that's what happens. You know what I mean? From any culture is, you know, the reason why I want to say to you, from Harvey Weinstein to Jeffrey Epstein to Ryan Whittle, two guys with the same type shit. You know, one guy's on the run, one guy's in prison, and one guy's in the dirt. And Ryan living. Jeffrey and Harvey, their past came back to haunt them. And one thing was my saying when I used to write a lot. I say your past can destroy your future. And that's a real saying. Your past can destroy your future. Because we seen it happen with Mr. Bill Cosby. You know, we seen it happen. Or Michael. You know, we seen it happen to a lot of guys that they accuse this wild stuff for. But lately, you know, Bill Cosby had blind, went to jail. You know, things got overturned or whatever, but he went to jail. And everybody has something to say. Everybody. And there's nothing wrong with that because, you know, he broke the law. He was convicted of it. Whether he was innocent or guilty, he was convicted of it. Whether Jeffrey Epstein was innocent or guilty, he was accused of it. Harvey Weinstein has been found guilty. Has, you know, won an appeal and gave some time back, you know, went back to court, you know, beat some shit. You know what I mean? It's a process. But one thing that I have to say about Harvey Weinstein, I have no respect, no love for him. I don't know him. I don't really care about his story that much. I just find it interesting and it's good content, to be honest. And it's in the public eye, and anything that's in the public you can use. That's just law of content. And I'm not saying nothing that has nothing to do with nothing, meaning that everything that I'm saying is public record. So I'm not making nothing up. I'm just giving my opinion, and my opinion counts. But for Harvey, you know, it's tough to be that old in prison, wheelchair bound, or that could just be a fake out. Probably standing straight up because prison reserve. I don't know. But ultimately, he got what he deserved. You know, and what he didn't deserve, the Court of Special Appeals found reason for him to overturn his sentence in New York. He won that. So one for him is the one for the defense. California, he got some things dismissed. He had a win in California, but still a loss. So it's an uphill battle. But I have no love and no respect for him at all. And he's just gonna get what he deserved. And even if man doesn't give him what he deserved, he on earth in this life, in the afterlife, in the day of judgment, we all got to answer to what we did, whether it was justifiable or unjustifiable. And that type shit that them dudes did, I don't think no God's gonna find that justifiable. I'm just being honest with you. I don't think no God is going to find that justifiable. I just don't in the afterlife. But who am I? God forgives, people don't, you know. But one thing I can say to inch of respect is he stood trial like a man. Jeffrey Epstein didn't. He stood trial like a man, and he's fighting like a man. Harvey Weinstein, he's fighting like a man to prove his innocence. And if he innocent and he keep fighting, God's gonna set him free because the truth will set you free. The truth will set you free. It will, and eventually, it will. And those women, and to any woman that lied or has lied on a man and get him caught up in that, and they find out that you lying, you deserve a life sentence. Because a man goes through a lot with those type of charges, walking through, you know, a detention center than being in prison. So, like, if the man didn't do that and you accuse that man of that because you mad, you deserve the same time that he would have got if he was convicted, and let you appeal it and let you go through all that and let you figure it out. And I don't think you don't deserve a second chance, but before that second chance is till you need to do about a good 10 years in there, 5 to 10 years before they give you a second chance. That's for women, because you shouldn't play like that. You shouldn't play like that. You shouldn't lie on nobody. But for the creeps that's actually doing that, you deserve everything you're gonna get. You deserve everything that you're gonna get and more. And that's just my opinion on it. That's just my take on it. Please hit that notification button, hit that subscribe button, drop a like, leave a comment, like this video, run these numbers up. Numbers low, but we appreciate everybody that stepped into this. We appreciate you. You feel what I'm saying? All the money that come through the store, man, we appreciate it. The money coming through the store, we appreciate it. Every day ain't gonna be a good day. Yesterday, we made so much money, we can get through the month. You know what I mean? That 47,000 gonna go across the internet and you'll get to know me. That's it. That's it. I'm going to keep putting it out there. But let's hear about this. I'm from Baltimore City. And the state's attorney, Ivan Bates, has been in that courthouse crucifying our brothers and sisters. At one time, state's attorney, Ivan Bates, was a criminal attorney. And this is something that I want to say to you guys. And this is my beliefs. I believe when you go through college and get your bachelor's, master's, or doctor's degree, whatever levels of degree, I think that's the farthest you could go. You could get a bachelor's degree, a master's degree, then you go doctorates, and there's nothing else school could do for you. Everything else is just experience and knowledge, right? I think when you take certain positions, especially when it comes to criminal justice, either you're going to be on the side of the people that break the law, or you're going to be on the side of people that uphold the law. Are you going to fight to keep the law and keep the regulations going right? Or you going to fight for people that's falsely accused and against corruption and defend defendants? Whatever oath you take to do that, you shouldn't be allowed to have a change of heart and say, now I want to work on the other side of the law. Because to me, that's a mean conflict of interest. You know how many stories you are told and all the things that you know, and now you on a team that you fought against for 20 years or whatever long that you were a lawyer. I think it should be some type of stipulations to that. You know what I mean? In certain absence, my old lawyer became a prosecutor, and now, we got him in the office. I get all that business shit, but in the reality of it, the harsh reality of the world is, I just think that's a conflict of interest. I think if you doing this, keep doing this, because criminal defense attorneys and people that do appeals, they make millions of dollars and live a great life. Educated people, same way. Prosecutors is, that's out to, uphold the justice. They make good money both ways. I don't think you should be a criminal defense attorney, and then you could be a state's attorney. I never fucked it with that. You know what I mean? I never did. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Like it's not fair. You know, just like dudes that and this is true. Every drama or everything that you do is competition, is yay and naysayers, right? So in the film world, people that do great films are not going to respect people that done porn for 25 years and now they want to get into the big film world. Not as investors, but directors and producers and lead roles. It's like, oh, right? It's like, you know what I mean? For real, because even with us, you know, different content creators, news platforms don't like smaller platforms like this. But they will never admit that. But they use smaller platforms like this to get their information because they know that these smaller platforms don't have this huge voice. So they take our ideas and put it to the mass and make them look like the hero. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like, you know, that's how it is with the criminal shit. It's like, of course, oh, you playing football and you switching to a different team. That's business. That's money. But when you know the elements of the streets and you've been told certain things, even though it's like, oh, you know, they can't never use that against nobody. We're not there with them 24 hours a day or 365 to know if they using what they learned. Who the fuck doesn't use the knowledge that they learned and apply that to their reality? Who doesn't do that? You saying you was a criminal defense attorney from when you was 25 till you was 45, and now you're a prosecutor. You don't tell me nothing you learned from being a criminal defense attorney you're going to apply when you prosecute criminals. Right?
Yeah, you got to.
You got it don't make no sense. Same way if a prosecutor become a defense attorney, they're going to tell you all the tricks and the trades of the office. You know what I mean? That's just it. You know what I mean? That's just it. That's just the laws of the land.
I definitely agree. Man, Ivan Bates said he running for another term, right? He said he loved it. He said he loved being a prosecutor.
I want to hear. I don't really want to hear 7 minutes.
I'm relocating in 2 weeks, and the house.
I don't want to hear 7 minutes of it. Hit that notification button, hit that subscribe button, drop a like, leave a comment. Drop a like, leave a comment. I like that. And all you got to do is go join the conversation and interact, man. Open panel. You know what I mean? Tomorrow, I'm going to pull out my Epstein 360 and actually go live from Ecamm. I ain't used Ecamm in so long. I'm going to try to go live with Ecamm and see how you know that affects the algorithm. And then, you know, the camera moves all around and all that shit. So by itself, you know what I mean? You don't have to, you know, do anything to do it. It naturally just does it. But that's just where I'm at with it. But here we go. We were Stacey Attorney.
Second term. Thank you for joining us. I'm Kai Jackson.
And I'm Mary Bubala. It comes as Baltimore's homicide and non-fatal shootings continue to go down, but the working relationship with Mayor Scott appears to be tense. Fox 45's Mackenzie Frost joins us from the newsroom with some of the details tonight. Mackenzie.
Yeah, Mary and Kai, we know that the city is facing a downward trend, especially when it comes to homicides and non-fatal shootings. And the city's top prosecutor, Ivan Bates, has said in the past that he believes a lot of that has to do with the fact that his office is really focusing on the repeat violent offenders in Baltimore. But we also know that he has made the citation docket a part of his agenda, something that we have documented that him and the mayor have butted heads about. From the beginning of Ivan Bates' term,
Office of State's Attorney.
he made it clear
And enough is enough.
criminals in Baltimore would be the target.
If you're breaking the law, you're going to walk around for legal handguns on the streets. Bring your toothbrush with you because we're going to see you in jail.
Working with the U.S. Attorney for Maryland at the time, Eric Barron, to go after violent incidents. After Barron sent a message to lawbreakers in the area.
This Al Capone model of prosecution is designed to take violent people off the streets,
by any appropriate legal means necessary.
I think we're on our way to making this sustainable if we can keep this up. If you look at when this started, end of August 2022.
They definitely cleaned the streets up in Baltimore.
That's the first time you saw this broad representation of federal, state, and local partners. And immediately after that, what happened? We started seeing historic reductions in violence.
Now,
we're looking to hold everybody accountable.
Bates is taking his plea to the public, asking for another term.
Okay, I'm running for re-election. Sure.
While on the radio, talking about the progress of Bates' citation docket, which is a criminal court specifically for lower-level offenses and quality-of-life crimes, but the effort has not been entirely smooth.
We're going to continue to do things until we make changes. Doesn't matter. We're not going to let one naysayer stop us. We're going to continue to fight for the people.
In July, we spoke with Bates about what he said was a lack of citations coming from the Baltimore Police Department.
Why do you believe the police department is not willing to write the citations?
I don't know. What I do know is I see the mayor say he's the boss. People do what he tells them to, and they're his police. So just as the buck stops here in Baltimore City State's Attorney's Office, the buck has to stop there with the mayor. If the mayor wants them to write the citations, they will. I feel in many ways I'm pushing a boulder up a hill.
On the radio Wednesday morning, Bates said he can't force people to write the citations.
The voters will sit and see. They'll make the determination what philosophy they want to go with. I run again next year. If you like what I'm talking about, then I'll be there. If not, then I get it.
So later that day,
thank y'all for being patient.
We took that to Mayor Brandon Scott.
Are you against what the state's attorney is doing with the citation docket effort?
So I think we have to say this first and foremost. As I say again, whenever the state's attorney has something that he has an issue with my agencies, that should just be directed to me. I had this conversation with the state's attorney on the phone this week. This did not come up.
The mayor points to drug arrests increasing and gun seizures in the city, all done by BPD. The mayor going on to claim
there is no law enforcement entity in the state of Maryland that has written more criminal citations than the Baltimore City Police Department. If we weren't telling them to do that or being a partner with the state's attorney's office, they wouldn't have the most written. Those officers who are out there in that moment know exactly what they need to do and what approach they need to take when you're talking about dealing with people on the street.
But it's not just the citation docket where these two leaders have found themselves butting heads.
Safe Streets, I don't know what they're doing.
Bates has raised concerns about Mayor Scott's flagship gun violence prevention program, Safe Streets, and what he says is a lack of transparency.
We could deal with this very easily if Safe Streets just gave the names and the information of who the Safe Streets workers were, and then we wouldn't have these problems or issues.
And then Bates threatening to take the mayor's Office of Neighborhood Safety and Engagement to court over data for the city's juvenile diversion program, Sidestep.
So I went to the mayor myself. We had lunch in the mayor's office, and I asked him for this information. He said he'd get back to me. No one's ever gotten back to me. You cannot say we're all together, we're working on the same team. There's transparency when your number one partner, the person who's involved and in charge of the criminal justice system in terms of Baltimore City, you don't want to share that information. You're hiding the ball from your teammates. Monzi means well, but they just don't know what they're doing.
The mayor's office argues the information Bates is searching for can't be shared due to juvenile privacy laws.
Well, we're going to most likely look at possibly taking them to court on the civil side. I never want to go that direction. Once again, we've sent letters. We were told that, this is what the statute says, that the mayor can't share this information with you. I think the Constitution would trump that statute.
Given the history between the two men,
how would you describe the working relationship that you have with the state's attorney? And at this point, are you supporting him in his effort for re-election?
Well, he hasn't asked me about that yet, so that's the conversation that I had to have with him first. But I just said it very clearly. You don't hear the state's attorney's office complaining about, if we heard this in the past, about the quality of cases that the police department is bringing to them at my direction. We work every day together, and we'll continue to do that because, as I've said time and time again, Mackenzie, I do not play politics with public safety.
Whether Bates gets the backing from the mayor or not,
I think Ivan Bates has been the solution since day one.
When he said, bring your toothbrush, the tone changed.
Political analyst John Didi argues Bates is the one driving change in Baltimore.
It's all about tone. And I think that by being very aggressive and prosecuting a lot of gun crimes, not slapping wrists on things.
And next year, voters will decide if they want 4 more years of Bates and his tougher on crime approach in the city.
Hi.
Now, to be clear, no one has officially filed for election.
I mean, Ivan Bates probably gonna win again. You know what I mean? Crime's been down. I gotta be honest. Crimes has been down. And I think that's a combination of the mayor office and
Shocking
the state's
developments in the
attorney,
death
but
of an 8.
they just not the best of friends. You get what I'm saying? They just not the best of friends, and that's it. Because I think more Ivan Bates is, borrowing safe streets. That's something that the mayor, came up with and is funding and supporting. And, it takes things a while to be great. Safe Streets has been under fire. It has been quite a few idiots that have been employed, but, it's idiots in the police department. It's idiots in the Senate. It's idiots in the House. It's idiots in the hospital. It's idiots everywhere. So, you know what I mean? I think they've been beating on them a little too much. You get what I'm saying? But, they both black men. They should be able to sit down and talk about it. They ain't no Jeffrey Weinstein or no Harvey Weinstein type nigga. And then Ivan Bates just charged that police officer with 2nd-degree attempted murder. So, you know what I mean? They all working. But would that fuck up his election shot for charging the police? I don't know. You get what I'm saying? But I know Ivan Bates is a good. He been, for the city and for people that voted, he been doing his job. And boys stay on the news and Murder Inc. stay posting convictions. So, something working out there. It ain't, bad as it, was as far as the way police, but they still doing their job and cases are filling up the courthouse. You know what I mean? It's happening, but it ain't a lot of that. You know what I mean? It's happening. It's really, really happening. I really, you know what I'm saying? I know that for sure. It's happening. It's gonna happen. It's gonna keep happening. You know what I mean? It's gonna really keep happening. If he come back in another 4 years, he really gonna do some cleaning and stomping. Because I mean, in Maryland, if Marilyn Mosley never caught that charge, I think she would have continued on being the state's attorney. I remember Patricia, Yasmin was the state's attorney for a long ass time. Sometimes them people just get in that office and do a good job. That they hold that office 3, 4, 5, 6 terms. I don't know if Ivan Bates gonna want to stay in that. I'm quite sure he might run for state's attorney again. Then he probably make his bid for mayor or governor. You know what I'm saying? Dudes in that field tend to go up. They ain't gonna go backwards. I guess the next steps after being a big state, he was a lawyer for a long time, being the state's attorney for a while. I think in his political career, he's aiming at something more bigger and more different. You know what I mean? I think that's what Bates going for. But hey, listen, I thank everybody for tapping in tonight. You know what I mean? YouTube would not let me be great, but it is what it is. Please hit that notification button, hit that subscribe button, drop a like, leave a comment. No fuck shit, no fake shit, no foolishness. Anything you say can and will be used against you on the internet. RDP, Raw Dope Podcast, Vlog, I'm out.